Hey, what's up everyone? Here at Angelus headquarters today, putting together a great video for you guys. Today we'll be working on a pair of Air Max Warhawk base theme with a slight twist to it. So first, we'll start off by removing the laces. The reason for the leather deglazer is the shoe comes with a natural finish, with a natural gloss, and so the key to that is to remove it. And you want to get that top layer completely off in order for that paint to really stick. Without it, the paint won't hold up too well. It's extremely important that this step is not skipped. It's also not a bad idea to put in extra effort, extra focus around the toe box area. It's the area that receives the most wear and tear, so making sure that the shoe is properly prepped cannot be overlooked. It's one of those details that goes a long way. So now that we have the whole entire upper prep, all the leather has been deglazed, that top finish is removed, the next step is tape. Personally, I like to cut a lot of little strips so I can have them ready to use. This is my personal thing. Makes the process a little faster for me. Now, taping is just as important as anything else. It's not a step that can be overlooked. You always want to make sure that you have clean, crisp lines, stop you from getting paint in areas that you do not want, so you have a nice, clean, finished product for your customers. When taping the air bubble, personally, I like to use a razor blade to get the right cut in. When using a razor blade, be very careful and not puncturing the air bubble and or cutting up the midsole. Next up, after everything is taped up, we'll be applying the stencil for this specific project. So now that we have everything taped off, stencils laid down, it's time for the fun part. Time to lay down some paint. And so first, we'll be starting off with some avocado. Now, some key points that you want to keep in mind when you're airbrushing is you want to stay at a fairly good distance. You don't want to be too close. You want to lay down some nice thin coats. You don't really want to cake it on and go real heavy with the paint. It won't leave the best finish. With the avocado, you probably want to lay down anywhere between 4 to 6 coats would be good. You also want to make sure that you are drying in between each layer before you add on the next layer. Okay, now that we laid down the avocado green, fully dried, taped off the other sections that we needed, we'll be focusing on the mouth section. Here we'll be applying fire red, and we're gonna get right to it. So here we'll be laying down about 4 coats, drying in between. You wanna make sure that the coats are thin. If you lay it down too thick, it will start bleeding through the tape and the stencil, and that is what you do not want to happen. So I just laid down the fire red, nice clean finish, and now we'll be moving on to the whole entire top section, which I will be laying down mist gray. And before I do so, I will be taping off the areas that I do not want any of the gray to land on, and we'll be doing so now. So when you're using a particular stencil like the one you see here, again, it's important that you pinch the edges as best as you can. Make sure that you use light coats in order to avoid the underspray that you may catch under the stencil. Now that all the major artwork is done, I'll be focusing on all the details that will tie in your whole piece together, have a nice complete finished product. So after about 16 hours of work, we finally have the finished product. With a project like this, you want to make sure that you take your time, be patient, don't rush through it. There's a lot of details in here, and so you want to make sure that you focus on that. And finally for me, tying in this shoe was the leather laces. I feel that it just always takes your project to the next level. It really sets it off and will separate your project from the next man's project.